One. We are live? Hi, I'm Dilu. Welcome to Core Zone. With me here is Francis Low Kin Seong, right? He is the La Sportiva ambassador, climbing ambassador. And we've invited him here today to talk to you a little bit about the climbing scene in Malaysia. So, if you are new to climbing or if you have been in the climbing scene a while, it's a great time to catch up with Francis on what's been happening in Malaysia since MCO and CMCO has been happening. So welcome to Core Zone, Francis.
Hi everybody, thanks for Dilu to invite me to be here. Today I would like to share a great afternoon with everyone, just to share a little bit about my experience or any things new in the climbing scene in Malaysia actually.
So Francis has been an international route setter for quite a number of years, yeah?
Yes.
How many years, Francis?
If I'm not wrong, first job that I involved in the international route setter, it was in 2007 in Macau, Asia Indoor Game. Then was my first appointed job by the AFSC, which is under IFSC, to do the route setting competition.
Going backwards a little bit, in 2004, Francis was the UIAA Asian Championship ranked 5th place, right?
Yeah.
And then in 2007, he was ranked 35th place in the IFSC World Championship. So from a competitive climber, a national climber representing Malaysia, Francis went on to become a coach. And then after that, he got into route setting. So now he is both a coach and an international route setter. Tell us how you got started in climbing in the first place.
Okay, actually it's quite interesting. Like everybody, I pick up this sport as a hobby, just like doing this during the weekend. But I start this in the year of 1994. There's around 26 years now of climbing, consistent climbing. So I started with scout activity. So we just do a casual activity like on the weekend. And after that, just to go a bit more faster, I was actively involved in competition. So I competing for Malaysia for 12 years. So go through all the competition and gain quite a lot of experience. And the turning point is when it was in 2007. After 12 years of competing, then it come to a point that I want to decide either I still want to continue as an athlete or I should, focus on my career. So I make a decision. So I focus on the route setting and pick up more coaching. That is the turning point for me in my climbing career.
How did you get into route setting? Is it a course that you need to get into, or?
Okay, interesting. For the route setting course, we go for a course organized by the Asia Climbing Federation. Then after you get selected, you need to work with different route setter in Asia country. We have a few chief route setter from Japan and Korea. And with around 4 years or 5 years of experience route setter, then you are qualified to be one of the international route setter in Asia country. Part of the team basically, yeah. So it's quite a long journey actually to be an international route setter. Yeah.
Wow, so you've been a route setter for more than 10 years now. Is that 14 years, coming to 14 years of route setting for major competitions all around Asia, right?
Yes.
So in China, Korea, what other countries have you been to?
I was quite honored to be always get appointed by the Asia Federation to participate in route setting. So basically, I think most of the major events in Asia, like Asia Championship, Asian Youth Championship, I've been setting for a few times. I lost count actually. I think there's quite a number of it.
So interestingly, because this is all about competition route setting, right? So Francis, do you set mostly bouldering routes or lead climbing routes or both? How does it work?
Okay, during the competition, the chief route setter will assign the job. So we have two teams. Either you are in the lead team or the bouldering team. So if you are in the bouldering team, you will just focus on the bouldering. But during the forerun, testing the route, both teams will mix around. So I give an example, like if this year I've been appointed as a route setter in the bouldering team, then probably next year I'll be appointed as a lead team. So that is how we go normally.
So what do you prefer to set? Bouldering routes or lead climbing routes?
I used to prefer for lead climb, but now the bouldering trend seems to change a lot. There's a lot of room for me to learn also, so I would prefer to set a little bit more on the bouldering actually.
So very interesting. One of the things that we started talking about was that in the past 1 year, the gyms were closed, and then the gyms were open, and suddenly we are seeing like a huge growth of climbers going into climbing gyms, from very young to a little bit on the older side, and we are quite surprised that people who are older are thinking, hey, this is an interesting sport, we are going to get into it. So because Francis is in Camp 5 most of the time, so he's a coach mainly in Camp 5.
Like a second home basically. Okay.
Yeah, his permanent fixture there, almost like the climbing wall. So if you go to Camp 5 1 Utama, you'll find him there. We have seen him coach little kids to really older adults, so maybe he can tell us a little bit about the trend that has changed in the last 1 year.
As can be seen, is actually the community is growing. After the MCO, many people start to pick up some new sport. It's not only climbing; they do some cycling or they do a lot of trekking. As I can see, my friend also like trying to get something new. One of the reasons is that they cannot travel, so they want to pick up something. And something that I can see that maybe the parents want to do with the family. So you can see actually more family is climbing in Camp 5. And perpetually for most senior climber, maybe for the age of, not really senior, a lot of mommy or people who are more active in yoga or Pilates, they tend to pick up something new. And as for the younger generation, nowadays people like to do a lot of bouldering. If you go to the bump climbing gym, you can see a lot of young people start to pick up this as one of the lifestyle and recreational sport, rather than you think that climbing is really hard or like something that if you are very unfit, you can't do it. It's basically, it's suited for the age of 5. I have some students around 60, so 5 to 60 I would say.
Not bad. So in the last 2 years maybe, we have seen a huge growth in climbing gyms. It used to be 1 or 2 gyms in the whole of Klang Valley, right? So now we have 5, 6, 7 gyms in Klang Valley, and then we have some gyms sprouting out in Penang, and now quite a number of gyms in Johor Bahru. So the climbing gyms scene has pretty much grown quite fast, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about national climbers, and we talked about young kids trying to pick up climbing. It's very interesting to note that 20 years ago, there were so few national climbers.
Okay.
Right now, I know we don't have a lot of competitions in Asia,
Yeah.
but if somebody was interested, so we have a question from one of our readers. M Square asks, given your extensive experience in rock climbing as a coach route setter, how do you think you can use your experience to groom the next generation of climbers? And what are the steps that have been taken from you to achieve this goal?
Okay, this is quite a broad question. To make it smaller, so I would say, first of all, if you want the sport to be grow in Malaysia, for the young generation to involve more in the overseas competition, we need to have a well-organized federation. That is very important, which is the authority, and we need to have a great facility. I think Camp 5 to fulfill this one. We have a very good lead wall at the One Utama and Putrajaya also, and bouldering wall also. And thirdly is that sponsorship, of course. If you have the sponsorship, you can go far. But for me personally, if you are talking about the young generation, the most important support actually comes from the parents. So parents will be the first line to give the full support and dedication. So if you want the kids to be good, you might need to travel around to climb more, not only in Malaysia, to see the scene of climbing in Asia or in the world. We can't travel now, but that is one of the things that you can gain a lot of experience and exposure, and take part in a lot of competition. Most of the time, the kids learn the experience from mistake, and they become very good in climbing once they get the confidence. So I think this is one of the key aspect for the parents and the kids, beside other element. And one last thing, if you would like to ask me, another important aspect is that we should implant a very important mindset for the young generation. If they want to be really competitive for the competition, they might have the mindset to go for competition, stand on the podium, rather than just go on the participation. Because once you have a clear intention for what you want to do, then it's easy to achieve what you want. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Wow. So what I've heard is that you need to be climbing in many different gyms, not just one gym.
Yeah.
So although you're training in a particular gym, you should always have that kind of exposure that you travel. We cannot travel interstate or out of the country, but within Klang Valley itself, you should try the various climbing gyms, right?
Yes.
The different styles of climbing and routes set by different route setters.
Yeah.
They have different styles
So
as well.
one of the example, like I believe every climbing gym have their specialty. Give an example, in Campfire Waterhammer, lead climb would be one of the main dominant one. And if you would do bouldering, maybe Eco City or BAM or maybe other places will be great. So in conclusion, the more you climb, you try different places for climbing, and every place is set by a different route setter. They have their own style or creativity. So the more you do, it will make you become a more overall and better climber. Yeah.
So how do you improve from being a 5C climber to getting to 6C or 7 or 8? How do you see the progression for the climbers since you're a coach?
Okay, actually for the progression, first of all, we need to get what is the objective that the climber want. If they just want to do it like for a fitness, then we will do like really a lot of climbing. If they really have some plan that like, oh coach, I would like to get my red card, like in Campfire, you need to do a 260, then you need to focus a little bit more on the technicality of climbing rather than fitness. But as you can see, if you are from a 5C climbers, it's pretty fast and pretty easy, not that so difficult for you to go from a 5C to a 6B. The breaking point is when you are on the 6C turning to a 7A. So there is some breaking point there. So many climbers, they struggle from a 6C to a 7A. Sometimes once people go to a 7A, they might just give up because they think that this is impossible for them, it's too hard. Or some people get a 7A, they get motivated, they want to go harder and harder and climbing stronger.
Yeah. Very interesting. So let's say if I wanted to be a national, not me lah.
Yeah, okay.
But we have a question from someone here.
Okay, question.
What are the training tips you can give someone who wants to be a national athlete? This funny name asked you.
Okay. Sorry, again the question.
So, what are the training tips you can give if someone wants to be a national athlete?
Okay. Like as you know, this 3 more months Olympic in Tokyo, they focus on one medal, but you have 3 elements. So in climbing, we have speed, lead, and bouldering. Referring to this question, for me, if you are good in lead, you should just focus in one of the aspects. Because in the next Olympic game in France, 2024, if I'm not wrong, they're going to split the medal to 3 rather than 1 for this time, the first time climbing in Olympic. So if you are like lead climbing, maybe you should focus more on the lead climb. So that would be one of my advice, to be more focused. And if in terms of training, there's a lot more to talk about this. So I will just cut it off here. Yeah.
So many people are online now. Hi Khalid, hi Chongming.
Hi.
Well, who do we have? We have hi Superman.
Oh, Chris.
Oh, the legend, Superman. Chris Koo.
From Singapore, now.
Oh, from Singapore, eh?
Yeah. He said he skipped his lunch to watch this live.
Wonderful.
Thank you for the support.
Thank you for the support.
Yeah.
We have
Hatta. Oh, wow.
Oh, where is Hatta from?
Hatta is one of the regular climbers in Campfire.
Regular climbers.
And
so
tracker. No.
We've got quite a number of people here. Hi Renee.
Connie. Hi Connie.
Connie.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Lisa, oh,
wonderful. If you guys have questions, write it down and then we will try to scroll through and get your question.
Grace too.
Yeah, see, he knows everybody in the climbing gym
Thank you.
and outside. So somebody mentioned on the chat that climb outdoors.
Oh,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Just before we talk about climbing outdoors, I was just wondering, is there a climbing gym in Malaysia that has the set speed route? Because we talk about bouldering, we
Okay,
talk about lead
yeah,
climbing.
yeah.
How about speed climbing? What's happening in Malaysia for speed climbing?
Okay, for this is not confirmed. I'm not sure, but I think Campfire they are might have a new world record speed wall in the new gym. But this is not confirmed. I'm not sure. Maybe Campfire management can answer this better. But we hope actually in the future we do have this standard speed climbing wall, so everyone can train. In Malaysia now currently we don't have, so it's a bit of a lose out lah.
Just to recap, so speed climbing in Olympics is a very set piece of route, right?
Yeah.
It's the same route everywhere in the world. So you climb from the bottom to the top. You've memorized the route by heart. So you cannot just set a different route. It has to be exactly the same route.
I think the current world record is like 5 second, right?
5.6 seconds.
5.6 seconds.
So that is why we have the 4.99
last Sportiva to break the 5 second. Okay.
Yeah. So a little bit hard if you are trying to get to the Olympics as a national athlete from Malaysia, because you don't have a speed climbing route to train on.
Yeah, sure.
So if they break the medal up into 3 different categories,
let's confirm one.
then at least we may have a chance.
Yes.
To maybe compete in the bouldering and the lead climbing.
Yeah, just choose one. Really focus on it.
Yeah. So somebody talked about climbing indoors and outdoors. You want to compare indoors and outdoors? What's the difference between indoor climbing and outdoor climbing?
Actually, for this question, I think most of the people know if is a really common one, like outdoor you have the high, the feeling is different. But I would like to change this question a little bit. After the MCO, you can see there's a huge group of people that are climbing from indoor start to move to outdoor. So it's a good indication that people tends to enjoy more outdoor climbing. As far as I know, especially in Yamo, during the weekend now it's like packed. You have a lot of new climbers going there. Also thanks to Adi, and the team, they start to clean up the place since long ago. But because of MCO, more people go there. Then they really do a lot of clearance, so that people can really accessible to Yamo and climb. And Malaysia putting fun. Thanks for the team. They've been putting a lot of new routes. If I'm not wrong, there's about 20 new routes from the range of 5C to some 8A or 8B that's unknown that nobody even climbed yet, or we should wait someone to send it and name it. Yeah. So as you can see, the trend is changing. It's good for all the climbing community. It's growing, guys. So it's a good indication.
Yeah, so we're very happy that people are going outdoors. We also want to put a word of caution that if you're climbing indoors and you're moving outdoors, you need to equip yourself with a little bit more knowledge other than climbing. Safety is like the key issue when you're climbing outdoors.
Yes.
There is no climbing gym instructor there watching you, making sure that you're tying in correctly. It's all on yourself to make sure that your gear is safe, that you've tied in correctly, that you're following procedure accordingly.
So just a quick one also for the Malaysian climbing community, especially if you go outdoor to like really take care of some of the ethic of climbing. So like the anchor, make sure you don't put a rope and do a top rope for a long time. So you should like trick through properly. So in long term we should protect it at all for the next generation. And I hear from Alex also, he say now Yamo is start to changing all the anchor. I've been putting like maybe 20 years ago, they start to replace with a new anchor. So it's great, for everybody.
So let's say if you're new to outdoor climbing, what kind of grades do you need to be climbing at to actually visit different sections?
Okay, this is quite an interesting question. So as you know, if you are a rock climber, once you start to pick up climbing, when you start to travel, you will look for places to climb. So it become like a climbing adventure trip. Example, if you go to Krabi, you will not look at Bangkok. You might go to any parts that you can climb in Krabi or Nan Pattaya. So you climb the same time, then you can enjoy your travel. So to answer this question, if you are a competent 6C climbers for outdoor, then you can enjoy quite a lot of routes actually outside. So from the range of like 5C to 6C, there's a lot actually at any country, any places. There will be sure some very easy one and some very, very hard one. So 6C, I think so, you can enjoy a lot of climbing. And one thing good about that also, if you can climb with certain breathing, when you travel to a certain place, or even if you go to Yamo, you can choose the route to climb rather than choose the place to climb. Because if this place is only all the easy grading, there might be a lot of people there. Or if you can climb from a 5C to a 7B, then you can choose from left to right all the way. You can try, something like that.
And he's talking about lead climbing.
Lead climbing, yeah.
Well, if you cannot lead climb, it's also fine. You can always find a good friend to go with who is able to lead climb, and you can top rope the route. If the route is a little bit harder for you, make sure you at least try it a couple of times first before you try to lead climb it.
Yes.
That is for personal safety.
Yes.
So, what are good climbing spots in Malaysia? And not talking about artificial ones. This is from one of the questions on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, so if we do have a website like Climbing Malaysia. It's very helpful. I see like someone from overseas always, they don't know where they want to climb, or they don't have partner, they type something there. Malaysian is good. We are great, the community. I always see that someone reply give a lot of information. But answer to this question is that Yamo, Damai and Takun will be the closest in KL. If you like to do a day trip, maybe you can drive a little bit. I'm not sure now you can travel this interstate. Cherantun or Gunung Lang in Ipoh, it will be great. So like Gua Musang will be a bit too far maybe, or Bukit Keteris will be slightly further. So it really depends on which state you are asking this question. We do have some very nice one in Penang, Joseton Park, right? If I'm not wrong, yeah.
But Joseton is granite route, so climbing style again will be very different between granite climbing and limestone climbing.
Yeah.
So if you are in Klang Valley, basically you're talking a lot about limestone climbing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a beautiful limestone in Yamo actually. It's quite similar to certain country like China, maybe Thailand, certain area. So it's a really good limestone. Yeah.
So in terms of training wise, you get more exposure. If you can climb well in Malaysia outdoors, then you can climb overseas. You can try different places when you're traveling.
Yes.
Tick off. Have a little bucket list, tick off all the places you would like.
Trust me, once you pick up this climbing, you really enjoy rock climbing. The first thing you will do, even if you travel with your family to certain country, you might say, oh, maybe I want to free just one day to try out some rock climbing, or visit some new gym or at the country. I'm not sure. For me, yes, I do a family trip. I also spend one day just to visit some gym, just to do some climbing.
So if Francis starts seeing my face in the gym more often, he knows I'm going for a trip. If not, he doesn't see me for 2 years.
Yes.
So it's true. You start getting yourself back into shape, and you can climb certain routes. So let's say when you're trying to Europe or even to US and other countries, Australia, bring your climbing shoes along. You can't really bring a rope and runners and all that. I mean, unless you're planning for an expedition trip. But you can always carry a pair of shoes and a chalk bag, and you can either go to the climbing gym, or you can book a day trip and just go out. Everywhere around the world, you can always hire a climbing guide, right?
Yes.
So the climbing guide is actually a pretty good idea, because they take you to places that you don't have to think, you don't waste time looking for the route. They know the routes very well. They know whether, if you're a 5C climber, or if you're a 6A, 6B climber, you're definitely able to do this route. They set it up for you, or they let you lead climb that route, and you enjoy the day. You can get in at least, how many climbs do you think somebody should get in a day?
Maybe 3 to 4. It really depends on how high is the route. Some certain places is really high, but mostly if you are a beginner, you go for some new places. The climbing guide will bring you to climb something high. because you can really see the view, you know, you take picture. I think so. So they won't put you on something very hard, you know, it's really demotivated. And as you know, if you travel, you just want to have a casual climb, you know, have a good day, you know. So I think it will be easy climb and long routes. Yeah.
And I heard that Hong Kong has some really good climbs for that.
Yes.
Hong Kong is kind of fun. It's not too far away. Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai in that area.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot.
Thailand also getting more new places. Yeah.
Southern China has got some really nice.
So nowadays, like for me, Lilu, when I travel, the first thing that crossed my mind, should I bring my climbing shoe or the harness? But to be safe, I always take my climbing shoe. Because if not, you travel to a gym, climbing shoe, you can still do a bouldering if you're alone. No Malaysia.
And you can always rent a harness.
Yes.
Yeah,
true,
and it doesn't cost a lot to rent a harness.
Yeah, but shoe is a must, yeah.
So we have another question. If I'm a working adult that just started in this sport, is it too late to compete in the Olympics or try to get on the national team for Malaysia? Is it too late?
To be very honest, it might be too late, but it depends on what you want. So for this question, I would suggest maybe you pick up the sport first. Take it like a hobby, you know, do it like a recreation. You start to love it, understand about the sport a bit more, then you can get the answer from it. Because if you talk about the Olympic, the level is a bit different here, so it's quite hard to describe it actually.
So just to get a general idea, let's say if I want to be a national climber, what grade should I be climbing at right now?
Okay, competitively, as a route setter, when we set a route in Asia level, qualification, you should be like able to climb at least 7C to 8A for a qualification round for lead, yeah. Then for the final, mostly when we are talking on site, we didn't set like 8C, you know, something so crazy. So probably the grade will be like a 8B. But the style of route is a bit changing now. We used to have like, you know, all the small handhold, then you can read the route quite straightforward. But now, as you see most of the competition, the hole is really big, you know, so it's really tricky sometimes. The possibility to fall is a lot. So the route setter wouldn't set it really hard. They would rather set it like very interesting or tricky for the climbers to compete, I think. Yeah. So for bouldering, the grade you're talking about maybe like B7 minimum entry to B11, around that, I think. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds really hard. But it's good to keep your eye on the prize and train for it. So there's one question here from Chia Jian. What's the most common injuries in climbing and how do you prevent or minimize it? What's the most common injury?
Okay, answering to this question, if any qualified coaches or experienced instructor, stretching is the main one. So in stretching, you also have a static or dynamic stretching. So dynamic stretching is more advisable. That's for one. And if you do climbing a lot, I would say like 2 or 3 days per week. So you might need to do some conditioning to work on the opposite muscle and to spend some time to do some warm down after the climbing session, especially on your finger. Yeah, if you're having a whole day of training, it will be advisable. Yeah.
How many hours should a person be climbing if they're trying to train for competitive climbing?
Okay.
How many hours a day and how many sessions a week, let's say?
Okay, this is really depend on the coach. I think every coach have their own plan. For me, I believe that climbing in long hours might not be helpful. So 3 hours with intensive, with 1 hour of good warm up, maybe with 2 hours of serious training will be good. But answering to this question, if you would like to do more of the competition, I think like 4 runs for competition will be important. Example, like you're not only training hard for the climbing, you do like a lot of simulation for competition. So during the climbing session, maybe you have like 4 routes of bouldering and try to do like 2 routes of on-site. There will be more close range to what you do. So maybe like 3 to 4 days per week is max. please guys, don't climb for 6 to 7 days. You get injured. You need to rest. Yeah.
And are there other cross training activities that they should be doing? Yoga for stretching,
Yeah.
or running? What would you recommend on the rest days? Or
for me personally, I think this is a good combination. If you are climbers, maybe you can try during your off day. You can do Pilates, yoga, swimming, running. These four will be a good combination. So it's not like basketball, jiu-jitsu, just an example. This is not a good combination. Yeah. So it's different. Yeah.
So on days that you're not on the climbing wall, go swimming, or do Pilates, or something that actually stretches and loosens your muscles, right?
Yeah, work on the weak part of the muscle or conditioning,
and your heart rate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go do some trekking, guys. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in competition, one of the hardest thing is keeping your heart rate down, not being too excited, focusing. How can Malaysian climbers train their mental state of mind? A lot of times when they're in a competition, it's not the skill that is lacking, but it's the mental strength.
Yes.
Right.
Answering to this question, so throughout my experience of competing, as I say, you need to really go out to compete, so that you learn from the mistake. Training very hard is one element. As you go out when you compete, you learn from the mistake, and the mistake will motivate you to climb better. And if you do achieve some result, that is the drive will make you go stronger. So the mindset is really important, guys. So as I say, my message to the young generation in Malaysia: if you want to compete, you must really set the mindset of you want to take it as a participation, or you want to go for the podium. It's really two different idea actually.
Do you find climbing to be an individual sport, like you and the wall, or is it a team sport where you need friends to climb with you, to motivate you, to compete with you when you're training? How much of a teamwork do you find is involved when it comes to climbing?
Okay, to make it simple, I think climbing is quite a personal sport. Give an example. When you are climbing on the lead wall, actually you can't hear like what is around you unless you try. Someone is cheering for you very loud. But most of the time you only hear your own breathing, and you're quite aware on the body, like how you hold, how you balance the ball. So it's quite an individual sport, and for the result scoring also is based on individual, not really on the team. But of course, when you have a group of people that climb with you, there will be great people tends to motivate each other. They can climb certain hard routes. You can try. You can watch them, get from beta, you share the information. It's just the same like if you go to Yangmok now at the outdoor. You will ask something about how do you climb this crux and there. I'm sure the climbers will be very happy to share the information with you. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's true. So would it be a very good idea, or not such a good idea, to have a national training team? How would that come about? Do you think that the climbers should take their own initiative, find their own coaches, or maybe there should be a national team? And how would that happen?
Okay, Malaysia Climbing Federation is the authority in Malaysia. So of course, if they do organize any selection, or training, as a national climber, you are committed to participate, and you should go for it. But at the same time, you should take more initiative. We can't travel now. You can travel around and you climb, and it will get you more experience. So that's what I guess. Yeah.
Will there be any competitions this year locally?
Locally, I think no. Campfire do organize a lot of competition for inter-school or for the younger kids. For Malaysia Federation, I think no, currently no. Yeah.
But I see now
But they do one last month. They do one centralized training for all the climbers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I see that the new format of climbing now is that they give you the route list, and then you go climb and submit back the route list to see whether you top out or not, right?
Yeah.
So because of this social distancing, we are also social distancing right now. So because of social distancing, you cannot have a one big huge event, but climbers can still go in,
Yes.
try the routes, tick it off.
Yeah.
It's a very casual competition.
Yes,
It's not
yes.
like
It's a great competition. I think it motivates a lot of people. So you will try to go to climb because, like I said, you have an objective and intention. You try to clock in and you are climbing to complete all the climb. The hardest one they have like very good. They set from like easy to hard one according to the number. So it's a very good system, I think, in the overall. Yeah. So you can't do like a really formal competition like everyone's so pressure, but you have at least have this one. Yeah, it's good.
yeah, it's kind of fun because although there will always be podium winners, there will be those who are pushing their grades and so on. The majority of climbers just want to see how many climbs that they can actually complete, and it's a personal satisfaction.
Yes.
I couldn't do this. I didn't realize I could do this. I can do that. Route reading is like a lost art almost sometimes.
Yes.
People don't read the routes as well as they used to. I mean,
Yeah.
it used to be one of the main things that climbers used to focus on. How do I get up there? Then you see everybody staring at the wall. But how do you train route reading? How do you teach people how to route read?
Okay, as for route reading, in competition format, it's always on site. So it's really come with the experience for route reading. So like what you can do right during the training, as I mentioned just now, on-site training will be good. So like during the training, not only you train hard, you have 2 routes to train to on-site. So how do training a good on-site is that, as I say, I would think that you always learn from the mistake. It's like when you stand there, you read the route, I can do this, no problem with it. But when you go out, it will be totally different. So it comes to a conclusion, at the moment that is totally different, how your body and how your mind can be adjust to the move very quickly. That is all by experience. So if someone that is no experience, they might get panic or they will ask for time. So someone that are more gung-ho, they will really go all out, they try. From there, actually you already gain the experience because you really try the route and go all out. So I very funny, I always in the Facebook, I ask a friend, why do you climb, you type the route. So you should try all out, climb until you fall, until the max, then you learn when is the max point and the body will start to adapt. That was a very good training for on-site, I think.
And I think for quite a lot of people, if you don't read the route well, you tend to hesitate. When you hesitate and you're hanging on and you're trying to figure out what you want to do next, you lose a lot of energy, right? It saps your energy and you might be able to do that particular move when you're fit and strong, but when you're hanging too long, you can't make that one move.
Correct. So it's just like in the competition, climbers come around the world to complete for the comp. I believe everybody is at least is a very strong climber, but sometimes the climbers that win is really based on their experience, the way they read the routes, they don't make mistake. So by not doing mistake, they climb very efficiency, they save the energy, then they can go higher, or for bouldering they can have a less attempt. That is where you have the breaking point for on-site and experience, rather than just muscle itself, I think.
Excellent. So now that we're talking a bit more about technique and route reading and stuff like that, Francis, what is your favorite shoe and why?
Favorite shoe for me, I actually last time I like Mura, Sportiva Mura. This the one, the Mura, and I have something to show you. This is one of my picture that I took like 9 years ago.
So people ask always when they're in the shop, how small should my shoes be? And we're like, if you're Francis, you go 5 sizes down.
No, not so much. No. So my favorite shoe is Mura lace. I think if I'm not wrong, call soon to sponsor me. I think about close to 7 to 8 pair. I do wear a lot for this one. Until now, there's all new technology that coming out. We have all the new different shoe. But this is still one of the classic shoe people say are bestseller. So this is one of it. And the trend start to change.
I want to show this. So how tight should your toes be inside the shoe, right? Look, he has no toes, It's all one big huge muscle.
Yeah. And this,
can you see that?
Can you see closer? Okay. Alright.
No.
Careful.
And you see,
Yeah.
that's how his how tight is tight. This is tight. This is like super tight, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And this picture actually, when I took this picture, is during my most peak time of climbing. So I used this shoe to climb 26 routes in Camp 5 many years ago. So I tried to make it like 1 ringgit per climb. At the time, I think the entry is like 26. So I spent 6 hours to climb 26 lead routes, all flash, including some routes in the Pro Wall. So I keep this shoe. So this is a good motivation for me next time when I was old, or I can show my kids there's some story to tell about this shoe. Yeah, I just think something crossed my mind today for this interview session.
it's scary. So on the average, when a customer goes into a campfire, for example, to climb, how many routes are they able to complete in a session before their hands give up?
For my student, normally for lead is about maximum, I think about 6 to 7. If you are casual, you climb and you rest. I think also can do 6 to 7 for about 3 hours. Now we have the limitation of climbing. I think about 6 for lead climb, enjoyable. For top rope, you can do a little bit more. Yeah.
So top rope would be what?
Top
8,
rope,
9, 10?
I train my student for young one is like 1 hour 10 is the like a landmark. Yeah.
1 hour 10 routes, top rope routes in campfire.
But you go there, you check, maybe in 3 hours you only climb maybe 4 or 5.
So he's trying to do 1 ringgit per route.
Yeah.
So you have to see how much you spend per route.
But now I think the entry is about 30 something. I don't think I can climb 36 or 39 routes.
Okay, like 2 ringgit lah, inflation. Give you 2 ringgit per route.
Yeah, that is 8 years ago, I think.
Yeah. So what shoe would you choose? Would you choose the same shoe
Ah,
for
yeah.
bouldering and same shoe for lead, or how do you select your shoes? How many types of shoes do you have?
For climbing shoe is really personal, guys. But first advice, don't choose the color according to what you want. So many people they get the shoe because they see, oh, it's red, it's green. I like this color. So go for the more suitable one. Answering to your question, I still have this murales. If I go outdoor, I would love to do this. But currently climbing inside, I tend to change a little bit more. So for bouldering, I use the Squama, right? Squama. Maybe you can pass.
Pass you a Squama.
The reason that I use this shoe because nowadays bouldering they have a lot of big volume. The surface is small. You need to really smear on it. So I will use this shoe, and the rubber is a bit soft. So in overall, for bouldering, this will be a good shoe. But if you come to lead, then I will go for the solution. Maybe it's a little bit
Solution
different. Solution comp. So one of the reasons is that I still like the front is a little bit aggressive, and at the same time the middle arch here, it creates a more dynamic movement. You can really bounce up a little bit. So it really depends, guys. You cannot have one shoe that fit all. So have a different range of shoe or any other different brand that you can go also. Just find the different. At the end of the day, you will really love the shoe that you want. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So there's one Patrice Isa,
Yeah.
and he asked the question, sebagai ambassador La Sportiva dan penjual kasut Mad Rock, yang mana satu bagus untuk lead climbing?
Untuk menjawab soalan ini, I rasa actually semua kasut pun bagus. Is terletak kepada kegunaan dan budget kamu. So kalau sebagai beginner, so I akan suggest you go first pair of shoe lah beginner. You can go for a more lower range shoe. But kalau you sudah ada few pair of shoe, you can try to go for the La Sportiva shoe. So the range is a bit different. And not problem is for La Sportiva shoe is the shoe is not so broad in the front. Yeah. So if you have the wider feet, it might not be suitable for you. So for me, I actually try Mad Rock shoe also. Because you need to try other shoe, then you can know the difference. Just a quick one to your question. If for lead climb, La Sportiva shoe, I will suggest a solution. If for lead climb, for Mad Rock, maybe you can go for Red Line. It's quite suitable. Velcro is good. if you are not a beginner, maybe for your second or third pair of shoe.
Yeah. So basically, if you're trying to push your grade and you think that the shoes make a huge difference, I mean, between whether you're sticking on the wall and getting close enough, La Sportiva performance shoes. It basically enhances your performance. Yeah. There are many shoes in the market, and like he said, based on the budget, you can try different types of shoes. Some shoes are less sensitive, some shoes are more sensitive, some have a larger volume, some have a smaller volume. It also depends on your feet, because all of us have different feet. In fact, our left foot is bigger than our right foot bigger than our so you really need to feel it. But if you're looking for sensitivity, La Sportiva is a good choice. There are other shoes in the market as well that are maybe washable, eco-friendly, softer, harder. You have to try it,
But for this one, I would just like to have a quick one. If you would like to get a pair of La Sportiva shoe, please come to Cozone and try the shoe and get it here. Reason is the La Sportiva sizing is really sensitive. Half size make a big difference. Every same brand, different model, there's a different also. You need to try it. You cannot like just go online, just get one. And most of the time people make mistake and then end up they need to sell to somebody, or they just cannot wear it. Yeah, I think so.
I got a quick question. Like Miura, you said you have 7-8 pairs of Miura, right?
Yes.
Are they all the same size, or are they different sizes?
It's quite same. Quite the same. My size is 37.5. But the last pair that I took for Cozone is slightly bigger. It's 38.5. One size bigger, guys.
So as you are not pushing so hard, you can actually go for half a size to one size higher. If you're pushing really hard, you want to go as minimal as possible. I think we saw the Adam Ondra video where he actually said that his shoes is so small, he literally needs to use the plastic bag from the box.
I used to do that when I was young, but now I feel it's so torture.
Just to break in the shoes, he has to find a way to get his feet into the shoes, and it's torturous.
But the kind of climbing is a really high grip. You're talking about like maybe a 9A. It's slightly different than what we do in the recreation climbing.
No pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain.
So it's quite scary in that sense. My first ever pair of climbing shoes, try a different one. Alright, different models before deciding what to get.
I see.
So you try the different models. Also talk to the salesperson about what kind of climbing that you intend to do, because you may find a certain pair of shoes very comfortable, but it may not be suitable for bouldering, or it may not be so suitable for outdoors, or it may not be so suitable for lead climbing. So you need to kind of like figure out if you're going outdoor climbing a lot.
Maybe a answer for her, Renee. If I assuming maybe you're an intermediate climber, like one thing that people tends to choose the shoe, right? Either they get the shoe that have a better support. So if you have a range, if you do have such strong, this one. So like example, this is Katana. So you see the sole, right, actually is a one piece. It's quite similar to the Miura lace. So when you stand on it, the back have a stronger support if your leg is not that strong, I think. So if you are beginner, you can choose this range like Otaki, Katana, Miura lace, or
the ones
Miura
with the full sole. So just to show you the difference between.
Okay, Lilu is good on this.
This is considered a full sole. This is considered a half sole. So also the little bit of difference that you want to look at is the thickness of the rubber. So for outdoor climbing, you want to go with something that's hardier, lasts longer, so your value for money for your shoes, right?
True.
Because if you were to take something really soft, maybe like a Genius, and you climb outdoors, you sakit hati kalau ada lubang, because when you're stepping on it and you're making a holes in a soft pair of shoes.
And sometimes outdoor the limestone is quite sharp in certain area, so it really depends on the usage.
And the difficulty of the climb. If it's a simple climb, it's fine. But when it comes to a difficult climb, you really have to get close. you tend to wear out the shoes a little bit more, yeah?
True. So like maybe you can have a different brand of shoe also, like they do, right? You can like maybe this one just use for warm up, or same brand in La Sportiva. This is just for easy climb, or when you want to do a project climb, you choose a more high end shoe.
Yeah.
So
And
option.
the difference between a Velcro and a lace shoe, do you find that there's a huge difference between that?
There's normally it's more on the like convenience. So many people like to Velcro. It's fast. You don't need to tie the shoe. But in general, if you are climbing, you want to feel the shoe is a really full wrap. I would say the lace is better for me. This is personal. It's different.
It's true, because
Personal
the lace
preference.
shoes allows you to tighten it right until the end, as far as it can go. Whereas the Velcro
Yeah.
is just at the middle part of the
Yeah.
shoe.
So like if I'm coaching, I will put a Velcro shoe. It's easy for me to take out in and out rather than I wear a shoelace every time I want to take out when I'm coaching my student. Yeah.
And what do you think about someone like Adam Ondra wearing two different shoes for the same climb? So his left foot he has something else on, and then his right foot he has something else on.
Okay. To answer to your question, first of all, he really know about the product. If I'm not wrong, he try all the shoe and he really know the usage for the shoe, and he's very good for the on-site also. You know exactly for this kind of movement which shoe is more suitable, and give example, if he's climbing on something on the volume, a lot of smearing, he might wear a theory, but if he want to try some route that's a lot of like a small foothold or like a pocket, maybe he will go for the VS or solution comp. I'm not sure, but that's the difference. So he know the route well, and he know exactly which is more suitable. That's why I think he wear like that. Yeah, he look.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, pretty cool.
Are you gonna try doing that?
I tried before, but for me, don't feel a really big difference. Maybe the route that I try is not hard enough. Yeah.
So that gives you more excuses to get more pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I need to try this with that
Yes,
with
yes,
this. It's fun that people are trying to climb outdoors and indoors as well. I think outdoor bouldering. Are there any outdoor bouldering sites? Very few, right?
Yamo do have some lately.
At the lower
they
section,
clean up a
right?
little
Yeah,
bit. But I never try, so I'm not in the right person to comment. So I think they do have some, yeah. But in general, there's not many in Malaysia itself.
Yeah, I heard that in India, in Hampi, India, there's a lot of boulder climbs, obviously. So again, it's all about traveling, which is something we can't
restriction,
do. But
we can't do much now.
So do we have any more questions?
Any more questions, guys? Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah.
We have it's now 12:54. We have 6 more minutes to wrap this up.
Yeah.
If there are anything that you want to ask Francis today, I think we have pretty much covered most of the questions. As the ambassador, anything that you would like to share with the climbing community? Maybe for the more senior climbers, you can address their concerns about how do they, what can they look forward to in the next year or two. Would you know of any plans that the National Climbing PMM has for?
To be very honest and frankly speaking, I'm not really sure about what is going to happen. Partially also because of COVID, many things is very uncertain, and we can't really plan now. But I do believe, I have faith in the federation. They will try their best to do better for the better of the all community, and in this way, it will also motivate the younger generation to really take part and have a better mindset to compete in the future, I guess. Yeah.
So out of curiosity,
Yeah.
what is the hardest climb that the Malaysian climber has climbed indoors?
Well, guys, this is a good one. I would like to bring someone that just crossed my mind. Is Mr. Tong. He just sent a 8B in the Yamo, Palembang or Palembang, the routes, I think. He told me that this route he tried maybe more than few hundred climb, guys, and For your information, because of this MCO, Malaysia had the highest hardest route sent this year in Malaysia.
Wow.
So many people send all the 7C, the osmosis, the plage, the AP. It's first time in the history in Malaysia. We have so many Malaysian climbers send the hard routes.
But you haven't
Interesting,
mentioned
guys.
that.
Yeah.
You haven't mentioned who is Mr. Tong. So Mr. Tong is has been climbing for years.
Yeah, Mr. Tong is one of the very regular climbers in Yamo. So his passion is really great.
And he is a senior climber because I think Mr. Tong is a little bit more senior than I am,
Yes,
and he's
yes.
still going very strong. And to climb an 8B
Yeah.
is a real challenge.
So a good message that Mr.
Dedication.
Tong sent to us is always never too late to climb. And if you have a project, just keep climbing. And because of the growing of climbing outdoor, now many climbers put their quick draw there. This is also one of the reasons many people start to try hard route, because the quick draw is there. You can just go there and climb. You don't need to clean it down. Because if you want to put it up, maybe you will have a second thought. So because of this also, actually he tends to encourage and motivate people to climb the harder routes, and we have more people send harder routes. So I hope in the future there's more hard routes, 8AAP in Yamo in Malaysia. Then we have reached a more higher standard that many people can send this quickly. Yeah.
And the youngest climbers that you have, what are the hardest routes that a young climber has sent? Let's say school-going climber.
For outdoor, not that much. Maybe for indoor, I would say there's a very young climber, Eugene. He managed to send like a 7C plus in the campfire lead walk.
And how old is he?
Number.
And how old was
He's
he?
he's 12 now. 12.
He's 12
yeah.
and he's sending a 7C.
Yeah. So as you can see, we do have good talent in Malaysia. And another female climbers that come across me is Shireen, also one of the good female climber. So they all will be our next generation of climbing.
Okay,
future,
we might have a couple of questions. Let's see. Where is the question?
Okay, I saw a quite interesting question, guys. The falling one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Where's the following question?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're trying to get the question out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, can we
Yeah,
look
Chris.
for the Chris question?
Chris, cool. I think yeah.
Chris, what did you ask?
Wow, the question is interesting, guy. Climb until you fall. Okay, someone answer like that. There's so many inside. Okay.
Where is
Oh, how to get rid of
my fear of
falling.
falling? Oh, how to get rid of fear of falling?
For me, personally, as a coach, I still try to find this answer from my student. There's many climber. They are so afraid of the lead falling. So I would suggest, if you are afraid of lead fall, you should overcome it. How do you? I will give a solution rather than why you are so afraid. You try to tend to fall more. Just get used to it. From a smaller fall to a bigger fall, and just keep trying until at one point you have no more feeling of it. Then you can overcome it. If you start to sit down and think too much, try to pursue yourself, I'm not going to scare, whatever. From my experience, it doesn't work. Yeah, you just need to go really practical. Just try the fall with safe belayer. I think so.
With a safe belayer,
Safe
that is
belayer,
a key issue for a safe belayer.
Yes.
One of the things, as a not such a good climber, right?
Yeah.
So there's always a chance of falling when you're climbing. I would recommend that you don't lead climb a new route unless you have tried it on top rope first. Okay, so if you can get a friend to, if you are new to lead climbing,
Yes.
or if you are just getting back into lead climbing, top rope the route first, or second the route.
Yeah.
Second the route. Make sure that you're confident enough of the movements before you try to. So you finish the route on a second or on a top rope. You come down, then you try the lead climb. If you're comfortable, you try the lead climb. And if you feel that you need to fall, get to the nearest hanger before you let go. Don't just let go at nowhere, right? So because the hangers are not that far away, they're like a meter or two away from each other. So you can always choose to maybe down climb 2 steps, and then you're very close to the hanger, and then you let go. That prevents you from falling a really long distance. Or try to get yourself to the next hanger before you quickly keep in and let go.
Yeah, just don't close your eye when you fall, okay? Open up your eye and see where you land properly. Yeah, just another advice if you are afraid of falling. The reason, like, maybe certain people that have some bad experience, when they fall, they hit, you know, they injure their ankle, fall down not that much, but, you know, have all this kind of injury, then they tends to scared not to do again. So you should overcome it and try a smaller one. As time comes, you will get used to it. Actually, nobody like to fall because the feeling is not really great if you don't used to it.
Actually, as an intermediate climber, you take climbing at 2 meters at a time because it's like 2 meters between hangers. It's only 2 meters at a time. So if you cycle yourself and you tell yourself, I only have to do 2 meters, 2 meters, 2 meters, 2 meters, eventually you get to the top. Right? You don't think about falling such a long distance because all our routes are protected. We are doing sport climbing routes. The hangers are strong, the bolts are securely in the wall, so they will catch you. When people talk about long falls and you look at movies where people are falling like 50 feet, 6, 7 meters
is considered long.
They are using tread climbing, which is a totally different thing from sport climbing. So they're placing their own placements into the holes, which actually may pop out if it's not put in properly, or it may be at a wrong angle and it pops out. But in sport climbing, when you're climbing indoors and outdoors in Malaysia, that doesn't happen.
So
you only fall to the next hanger.
If you really want to pick up lead climbing, Camp 5 to run some courses. We have a very good experience and instructor, so they can give you a hint of it.
And belayer is the most important because I think we've heard mostly of accidents in outdoor climbing or even indoor climbing is because of the belayer, giving too much slack or not taking in on time. Generally, it's too much slack. So when you give your climber too much slack, they fall. The bolt is there, but the rope continues to extend. So you have to remember that the rope that you're holding extends at least 13%. For a dynamic rope, it extends 13% when you take a fall, right? The elasticity, it actually helps to absorb the shock, so your body doesn't take the shock. For indoor climbing, some companies have come up with ropes that are shorter. The elasticity is shorter for indoor climbing, so that you don't hit the floor as hard or as quickly.
I see. That's a good information.
So there's indoor climbing rope now, and then there's outdoor climbing rope. You need to decide where you're climbing, and then you bring the correct rope along.
So one last thing about this lead, don't learn from your friend. Go for someone that really have the knowledge to pass down. Your friend that passed for you the knowledge might be very dilute after 2 or 3 people start to give to you. Just go direct. Enjoy climbing and climb safe. I think very important.
Definitely climb safe. Enjoy climbing.
Enjoy the pump, as I always say.
And Francis always shows us his hands are pumped to the end. There's nothing left.
Yes.
So thank you very much for joining us.
I think maybe it's time.
It's time for us to go. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope that you will continue to lock into Core Zone so that you can follow all our other Facebook trends. And Francis, if you ever catch him in Camp 5, do say hi. And I'm sure he's a nice guy. He will stop and talk to you about whatever questions you have in mind. Alright.
So finally, thanks for Dilu to spend a great time with me this afternoon. And if you do see me in Camp 5, come and say hi. If you have any question, you still can ask me. I always be there. And hope you guys have a good day. Today is a Selangor holiday, right? Some of you might spend a good time with your family too. Okay, guys, thank you.
Keep climbing, climb on.
Climb on. Enjoy the pump.
Thank you to Francis.
Thank you. Bye.